我喜欢你这部剧，不提到分手。浸泡在时光深的冰里，但只想要呼吸，讨厌云里雾里。Hey guys, come here. Welcome back to Langrisser M news from the future. So welcome back to part 2 featuring the hero that's released in the CN server for this month. And as the usual stuff, we will be splitting into 3 categories. The first, introduction of the VA or Seiyu for the characters. Second part, we'll be going through on the talent, faction, and skills that are exclusively released for the characters. And last but not least, we'll be going through on some positive and negative or pros and cons review about the hero, or should I say the sharing of the pros and cons review that players have in their playthrough or demo playthrough of the characters. So are you guys ready? Let's get started. So before I carry on, a very great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser mobile app, 梦幻模拟阵手游. And here we go. So on part 2, what you're seeing here right now is none other than the long-awaited Emperor Tyrantel from the Empire factions in this latest installment story of the new Langrisser Interstellar Dimensional story. So yep. Okay, some of you, by looking at the CV list, you might have already known who or whom had voiced Tyrantel, but more surprise coming up. So a little sharing about Tyrantel is that he is born from a family of a bloodline of dragon slayers, and out of all, he has been the best of all successor, and he is also known as the faith of the people in his empire. And there's a little descriptions or backstory that may perhaps in the past, when facing against the invasion of an evil dragon, he is the one who's gonna be the one that will burn or ignite. He's gonna be the woods that's gonna ignite the hope, and he's gonna die out somewhere in a corner where nobody knows. So based on this description, I'm gonna speculate that in the past he's a king when he's young. He's someone that's being loved or have faith with by the people of his country, and one day an evil dragon invade the country. He is the only hope or the only person that has a chance to fight against the dragon, and perhaps after the battle he might have died, as described that his fire is like being put out in places unknown to anyone. Then the second part, written as the primordial king or the first king, brought with him his ambitions and his fiery fire, and descend upon and re-descend upon Toivo, and in the body of Tyrantel has been succeeded or embedded with the soul that is no longer the once young king, and the empire is gonna welcome a new life. And this is the design of Emperor Tyrantel. I gotta say, the costume design of the latest Langrisser installment story is definitely very nice. I love the way they design the armor, and we're coming back to the same old Urushiara Satoshi styles of art, the overly glamorous and bulky style of armor layout and design. I for one definitely like it this way. It just feels like you're daunting on either very cool armor or it's as if you're like one with a super robot series. Like you yourself is like what some a certain anime characters once said, Orewa Gundam. The only thing that he's lacked in this picture is just an helmet, and we're good to go. And alright, so enough said. The Seiyu or voice actor who actually voiced Emperor Tyrantel is none other than Mr. Shūichi Ikeda, one of the legendary voice actors, and he is the one who has voiced the original Chuck Anzabal from the original Gundam, the first series of Gundam. Then on the right, if you're One Piece One Piece fan, you definitely know who this is. This is known as the Red Hair Shanks, the one who's inspired Luffy to become the king of pirates. And before we end with going through his voice playing, so this is some of the characters he shared relationship with. So the first one is gonna be Andrew, aka Go Hair, that the CM players like to call. So a little backstory. So in the war or destruction caused by the beast type has caused Andrew to become an orphanage. An orphan. And of all the orphan that they pick, Tyrantel personally choose him or choose to adopt him directly. And from the day that Andre left the orphanage home, his loyalty to Tyrantel become his faith of his life. And second is aka Asuka, Patricia, aka Asuka. Okay. Under the cheers of the citizens, the welcoming cheers, Tyrantel has brought forth the codename of the second Dragon Slayer's cursed Emperor's King to his daughter's Patricia's side. And however, compared to what is roughly described as in the past a loving father, Emperor Tyrantel has been even more strict, over 100 times stricter, to guiding in Patricia her combat ability and also her combat training. And in the eyes of Patricia, this father looks more a little bit of becoming like a stranger. However, she does not know that the irreversible fate has already started changing. So the way it sounds or it tells sounds like something bad might have or might be befalling Patricia soon. I hope that's not the case. And this is his chibi art by Ganda Curry, aka Marcel to Liana. So overall, even in this chibi form, I gotta say I like the design of the sword and the armor. It looks very magnificent and very cool. So right now, before we end the last part, let us hear his voice patch. So he will be saying, "My name is Tyrantel, the Emperor of August Empire and ruler. Show your strength and your faith and present your loyalty." So this is what he's gonna be saying. So let's hear how it sounds like.
我が名はタイランテル。 オズグス帝国の統治者である。そなたの力と信念を示し、世に忠誠を誓え。
Okay, let's listen to it
我
again.
が名はタイランテル。オズグス帝国の統治者である。そなたの力と信念を示し、世に忠誠を誓え。
Alright, I got to say before we end just my thoughts. It just sounds weird for this voice line. It's not bad. It's just a bit weird because the way when you see the characters and the speech given by him, it really feels like two different persons because the voice by Mr. Shūichi Ikeda really sounds like a young man, a genius young man full of wisdom. It feels like he should be voicing characters like Andre instead because when you look at Tyrantel, the design, the voice line sounds a bit too young for this old man design. To be honest, I'm kind of expecting they'll be using similar voice line to Emperor Bernhard. He has that more presentations of a king. He has that king's aura, but for Tyrantel, it just feels like this. Like, oh my gosh, this is such a smart guy, a young smart lad. He gave very nice advice, strong, good advice. We will be swearing our loyalty to this smart general. It's kind of like give you like a Marshall Lanford vibe that he should be voicing this character because for Emperor Tyrant's Tale the design sounds a bit should be go for an even older, or should I say Mr. Shūichi Ikeda, despite being over 70 as of this year 2024, yet he can still give out such a very young vibe. This is very cool. And with that, okay, we'll be going to part 2 where we will be now officially going through about the character's talent and skills. Here we go. So alright, on part 2 here, and before we carry on, apparently there has been like a second part phrase continuing from what caused the changes in Emperor Tyrantel is that on the second phase it actually states, in order to fight against the threat brought by the evil dragon, he used his mortal body to, well, you can say combine, install, or succeed the power of the berserk dragon blood, and the changes of his body is being slowly being changed or altered. It's also setting as a constant reminder to him that this great power will come with a great price. So it might be already hinting that he's not gonna be him, or his original souls has already been taken over by something else. Though in this presentation it sounds like an ancient dragon blood, so I'm gonna think that he's being possessed probably by another evil dragon. So alright, for his factions, so come to the second part. His factions, as you can see, he's the emperor of an empire. His faction is gonna be Empire, then followed by Mythical Realm and Reincarnations. So this definitely suit the team that the Reincarnation team, because after his introduction of his characters. Alright, for his talent. Okay, the talent name can either be known as the First King's Decisions or the Primal King Determinations. The effect are as follows, so watch till the end for the translations and the build up that I will be sharing with you guys. Okay, the effect are as follow. Number 1, damage received will be reduced by 25%. Number 2, when you end your turn, you can choose an enemy on the field and apply a debuff known as Domination Seal. The effects are as follows for Domination Seal. First, when battling, you will attack later. And when you attack later, this means for the enemy. So the enemy will attack later than your own team. Okay, you attack later than your enemy. Second, this effect cannot be immune, dispel, and it will last for 3 turns. Third, upon triggering, these skills will enter a CD of 2. Okay, number 3. When enemies with domination seals are 3 blocks around you, their attack and defense will be reduced by 20%. Number 4. Upon death, a past dynasty Emperor Battle Spirit will manifest with the ability known as Emperor's Will. Emperor's Will possess the following effect. You can choose to, the first being, you can target an ally and cast Echo of Fighting Spirits. Second, the target will inherit all of Tyrantel's ability and stats, and they can take action straight away. The third, this effect can only trigger once per battle. So the following are all the effects on the Emperor's Will and Empire's Will. So what does Empire's Will do? Because it says you can target an ally and cast the Echo of Fighting Spirits, and basically you just kind of like possess that ally. So what happened is that the target ally will have first inherit 100% of Tyrantel's stats and treated as a summon with individual turn count. So this is the effect or the summon being known as Empire's Will. So it will still have the stats and is treated as a summon, and it will occupy your turn count. Okay, the next is for Echo of Fighting Spirits. Okay, this skill has the following effect. First being, it has a cast range of up to 7 blocks. Second, your target must be the hero's unit that is chosen for the match. Third, it does not matter if your target ally hero has already moved and end their turn, and they will inherit all of Tyrantel's stats and all equipped abilities, talent, active and passive skills, their soldier unit, and equipment effect. So basically is straight up, you can think of that you have 2 Tyrantels on the battle. So the second Tyrantel will come into effect after the first Tyrantel died. Summon a spirit unit, or you can just treat as summon a summon unit, and then the summon unit will cast a skill to take over one of your allied heroes to become the second Tyrantel, and everything will remain the same exactly as the first Tyrantel, be it the talents, skills, and equipment that you brought on the field. So it sounds pretty cool. So of course, if you guys are slightly confused or very confused, please watch to the end for the translation I've done for you guys in English. So coming to exclusive skill 1, it is known as Majestic of Kings. It's a 1C skill. The CD, range, and AoE type are on now. It is a passive skill. It has the following effect. Number 1, increase normal attack damage by 20%. Number 2, when being attacked into battle, if your attack is higher than enemies, reduce enemies' attack intelligence by 15% for this battle. So, okay, he possesses ability and skill set fairly similar to Bernhard, except for the skill possession skills. Then that's it for exclusive skill 1. Then coming to exclusive skill 2. Okay, exclusive skill 2 is known as Overlord's Throne. Is a 2C skill with a CD of 2. The range is self-targeting, self-range. The AoE type is single target, and it has both passive and active. So for passive, number 1, block or attack for allies 1 block around you. So apparently these are tank or guard skills. Coming to the active skills. Number 1, add 15% of attack to defense and magic defense. Number 2, able to counter 2 blocks range attack, and this cannot be dispelled. Number 3, your guard range become 2 blocks. Number 4, damage received reduced by 15%. Number 5, the whole effect will last for 2 turns. So long story short, this is a physical guard version skills of what Elma 2.0 possess, and because he will be able to add 15% of your attack to your defense and magic defense instead of intelligence, then you'll be able to counter 2 blocks range. And not to mention, this ability cannot be dispelled. This is pretty cool. And yep, the rest is history. And oh, the additional one more new stuff is that the damage that you take will be reduced by 15%. All the skills will or is meant to make sure that Tyrantel can outlive his enemy as long as possible. I mean, based on exclusive skill 1 and 2. And coming up next, much to my surprise, it is not 3C yet. Apparently, it is an exclusive skill 2. So I'm gonna guess when Zilong does this, the characters is something that's gonna be one of their favorite characters, or these characters might be playing a greater role in the stories. But then again, who knows? Alright, exclusive skill 3, known as Destined Judgment or Destined Judgment, is a 2C skill, has a CD of 2, the range is 1, the AoE type is physical single target, and again it has both passive and active skills. For passive, number 1, increase damage deal based on the damage reduction effect from your talent. So okay, let's check back. The damage received from his talent, the first effect is damage received will be reduced by 25% at rank 6. So this means that your damage deal against the enemy will be increased by 25%. So you definitely want to get rank 6 as far as you can for this characters if you happen to summon him. Active skills. Number 1, attack and deal 1.5 times damage to a target enemy. Number 2, in this battle, the damage you receive will be reduced by 15%. Number 3, after battle, recover HP based on 30% of the damage dealt. So 1.5 times the usual stuff, not too bad. And not to mention that in this battle, the damage that you receive will be reduced by 15%. Then, not to mention, these are life steal skills that you gain HP recovery afterwards. So later on, when we're moving to part 3, I'm not sure. With all 3 skills has one thing in common, is that all 3 skills had damage reduction ability, so I'm not sure if it can stack or it's going to be treated as same stuff. That means they will just override each other out, it won't stack. So hopefully the pros that has tested out will give us a bit of light about this. And finally, last but not least, coming to his 3C, and it's pretty cool. The 3C has not one but 2 3C. It's a transformation 3C. So the first 3C is known as Pledge of Watch or Pledge of Protection. The CD is now, the range is self-targeting, and the AoE type is single target. Again, has both passive and active skills. So for passive, number 1, guard incoming attack for all allies 1 block around you. Number 2, immune to position shifting. And number 3, immune to fixed damage. Okay, ooh, this is pretty cute. It's like an upgraded version of Hilda. For active skills, number 1, add 15% of your attack to defense and magic defense. Number 2, able to counter 2 blocks range attack and cannot be dispelled. Number 3, the guard range will become 2 blocks. Number 4, greatly increase your offense and defense stats. Number 5, the first 4 effect will last for 4 turns. So this is a single faction buff only for Tyrantels only. Then number 6, after using these skills, it will be transformed to the second 3C skills known as Force Destructions for 3 turns. Number 7, if you're affected by Echo of Fighting Spirits effect, do note that first, the buff you had will not be reduced, and second, you will be able to move 3 blocks and attack again. So Echo of Fighting Spirit is just targeting on your allies, heroes, and kind of like just treat as possess them. So upon when you have this you already cast this 3C, then you become the spirit, and then when you possess your allies, your buff that you already had will not be reduced, and you'll be able to move and act again. So this kind of similar to Guyver, that you have act again effect upon death and revive. Okay, the second 3C ability, okay, Force Destruction, has a CD of 5 turns. The range is 1. The AoE type is physical single target, and again have passive and active. So the passive are actually similar to the first form, which is number 1, guard incoming attack for allies 1 block around you. 2, immune to position shifting effect, and 3, immune to fixed damage. So this is pretty cool that even after the skill change, you will still retain, and or should I say, they're gonna remind you that you will still retain the passive ability that you already had. It will not be lost, unlike some older generation heroes with skill transformation. Coming to the active skills, number 1, the active ability. Number 1, attack and do 1.8 times damage to target enemy. Number 2, remove 5 buff from enemy before battle. Number 3, when allies on the field is 2 or less, you will enjoy increased damage due to enemies with domination seal by 20%. Okay, that's pretty cool because if you're gonna get increased by 20%, there might be a high chance that you'll kill enemy because enemies with domination seal will have both their attack and defense reduced by 20%. So with a weakened defense stats, and then you're gonna have another additional 20% increment when you damage against them. I'm gonna presume you should be able to 1 KO them or almost KO them based on your stats and ability. Number 4, if you successfully kill the target, remove the cooldown of your talent. So this means if you manage to kill the target, your domination seal will reset and you can start straight away to target another new enemy of your choice. So this is pretty cool. And if I'm not wrong, the domination seal ability is a global effect, which we will find out more during the demo play, or perhaps on part 3 we will find out more based on what the pros has shared with us. So alright, that's it for the skills, exclusive skills, talent and effect from Tarantel. What did you guys think? And now we'll move on to part 3, and here we go. Alright, coming to the last part, and this is where some of the pros share with their tested experience with us, so we can know more about Tarantel, about how good his ability are or how bad it is. And also, last but not least, before we end, we'll be sharing about how popular is he in the Apex right now. So before we start, thanks to again to 梦幻模拟站资料库 the Langrisser data bank, and this is a test done by 知道王, that's the player name. So some of the test results in case you guys are curious and want to better build this character. So do note that on the first thing that you guys see is from his talent, the domination seal. So as you can see from the picture, that domination seal ability is what I speculate. It's a global field effect, means once you end your turn, you can target enemy anywhere on the field. Then second effect is domination seal ability to cause the enemies to commence their attack later. So however, when you meet up with the enemy's ability to attack first, this effect will cancel each other and both parties will attack together. And they do mention that one of the characters is from the collab, Shining Resonance, the Sonya battle duo has not been tested. And as this is true during the demo, the beta testing, so things might have changed. However, it has been mentioned. So one example is that, for example, a transformed Ginsan from the Gintama collab. So if his allies die, he transforms in his Shirayasha mode. He has the ability or priority to attack enemy first. So if you already cast domination seal on Ginsan, this ability to cause him to attack later will be cancelled out, and he will just become a attack on the same speed as you do. So one thing they do mention and find out that in Langrisser, there's something important to note. There is no such thing actually as attacking later. There's only 2 categories. 1, you attack first, or 2, attack at the same time. Okay, it's just a lot of time you see that you got attacked faster by the enemies because like most of the time like assassin their speed is faster, and that's what we address as attacking first. Then third is what we have mentioned, so you guys have a glimpse on what it's gonna look like before the demo play, is the from his talent Empire's Will. So Empire's Will is a summon, and it has its downside. It cannot move, but it can be position shift or teleport. So again, this can ensure its survivability. Then like Wet Hands 3C or summoning the El Hazard Shadow, it is immune to all debuff effect. It however does have HP and attack, offensive and defensive stats that inherited from Tyrantel when he dies. This means that when upon death, if Tyrantel has faction buff or any buff activated or intact, this Empire's Will summon unit will inherit 100% of the stats. So long story short, if Tyrantel, when he died, his attack is only 1000 before any faction buff, the summon unit will have only 1000 attack and 1000 defense and etc. However, when before death, he already cast faction buff, and that increases attack and defense to 1002. The same will be said for this Empire's Will. So Empire's Will is not a skill, or should we say Empire's Will is the summon itself. It's also its talent. So number 4 point, the point 4 is actually states that like Curtis, aka the artist or painter, and Gizarov, so after death, they will straightaway produce a summon unit that has not moved or act yet. And this means that this will take your turn count, as they're going to treat it as an individual unit. So if enemies that come and kill Tyrantel is a character that can move 2 times, there's a chance that after killing Tyrantel, it can proceed to kill off this summon unit, as seen in the example below. Then, however, if Tyrantel try to self-explode, or meaning maybe being killed, or try to kill himself in the poison mist, and summon Empire's Will, instead of you able to act again straight away, it will be cut to the enemy's turn instead. And this means that you cannot fulfill the ideal play of maybe like a low HP Tyrantel with a lot of debuff, so he's gonna be useless. So you try to kill him in the poison mist, then try to possess characters like Rose and Seal, and try to act again straight away to fight the battle. Apparently you can do that based on the demo beta play. And again, do note that this is foundings in the beta play. So as you can see in this short clip, so we can also find out that the summon unit location will be at the place where Tyrantel die. So when he die, the summon unit will be summoned on the spot. And so if you see you met with characters like Nani Sherry, so after she killed Emperor Tyrantel, she can proceed to kill off this summon unit. So things to take note. Then possessing an ally and receiving Tyrantel's talent effect. So after possession, you will gain his talent instead, meaning your character is kind of like totally being overwritten. From example, from Rose and Seals to Tail. Then point 6, after being possessed or taken over, characters that has been taken over by Tail is not treated as dying. So they have tried this in some PvE matches. So that especially during the time brief or your the category, the one that goes from triple S or 4S. So they done this during the PvE matches. So anyone that's taken over do not treat as dying. They're just being possessed, I guess. However, because of this ability, that any allies that will have their skills or talent triggers upon allies' death will not be triggered. One example will be that Gintoki from Gintama will not be able to trigger his Act Again and Shiroyasha ability, and the same go for Andrew. He'll not be able to activate his talent, ability, and skills. It will be treated as going to waste. Especially if you try to swear loyalties to characters like Rose and Seal, then you try to and Tyrant Tales possess the characters. I guess it's gonna be treated as just override the characters. And especially the same goes for Awakeners, aka Black Yani or Dark Yani. So after being possessed, she will not revive. So her portal summon will not occur and happen. And not to mention, any characters with 2 HP life will no longer trigger, and they will just surely be taken over straight away. So like I said, the characters has been, long story short, copy and paste, taken over, end of story. So as you can see in this short clip, so they are using Awakener as an example. So as you can see, upon triggering the Empire's Will effect, the battle echo. So as you can see, Awakeners has been fully possessed, and you do not see any portal behind the background. So the character is just being wasted. So when using his ability, you got to be wise before making your choice. So point 7, to possess the unit, it has to be your player chosen unit that you send to the field, and you cannot possess NPC. However, you will be able to choose a resurrected Awakener that left with 3 turn summon rate or survivability, that she has to kill an enemy within 3 turns. So if you try to possess a resurrected Awakener, you will straight away be leave off from the 3 turn survive turn count, because it's treated as a new characters. Point 8, based on the characters turn count numbering. So there's things like, I'm not sure why they go into this. I'm gonna presume that this can affect things like when enemies cause your character to be uncontrollable and go berserk, like much like the apotheosis, aka Chaos Hem, when it causes you to lose control, which characters will move first. So theoretically, when you send only 5 characters into the battle, and you already group them accordingly from number 1 to 5 in according to their actions. If Tyrantel is number 1, you will guard them as their highest priority. However, after possessing the new unit, which is number 6, which will become the 6th, your guard priority will become the lowest, which is similar to one example they use is CC White summoned Lancer. So I gotta be honest, I am not too familiar about this point 8. So if any one of you understand it, please feel free to write in the comment section below and explain to me. Then coming to the exclusive skill 1, some of the pros and cons about his exclusive skill 1, Majestic of Kings. So the 1C attack reduction is not treated as a debuff. So it's considered as a special effect. So when you go into battle, there's gonna be some sort of skill effect that will trigger to cause the enemy's attack to be reduced. So take note, this is not a debuff. And after some testing, it has been said that this ability will only take your original stats into account. If after going to battle your attack increase, things might not happen. So they're giving this example that Tyrantel bring this helmet. This helmet ability will give you that when going to battle, you will increase your attack by 8%. So apparently based on this beta testing, Fairy of the Beast, I'm going to presume this what this helmet called. When before battle, your attack is lower than enemy. However, when going to battle, you trigger this helmet's ability of enjoying an 8% attack increment, which at this time causes your attack to be higher than the enemies. However, the Majestic of King passive ability of reducing enemies' attack will not trigger. So take note. However, there's also been a note that hopefully when more players done more test trial, let's see if this effect might have been changed or not. So that's it. And last but not least, think you guys will be interested is the bond. So it's pretty easy. All you need to do for his unlock his bond is to win one time in the arena. Then you gotta use him to clear the elite stage 3-1 in Time Reef. So always kill Amida again, Imelda. Number 3, you definitely need one person, which is his daughter, Patricia, to clear his second last Gate of Fate. Then either second or the last. Then last but not that's for his defense bond. For his offensive ability bond, all you need to do is fulfill changing his class to the indestructible Emperor. And for rune emblem or casting wise, this is some of the things that he will need. Then also some of his stats. So he has both infantry and a flyer class for his either long last class. So alright, that's it. We have come to the end. What did you guys think? Did you think he's strong, normal, or not so good? You can leave it down in the comment sections below. Then also to share with you guys, currently in the Apex, he is not, definitely not, players has not yet classified him as tier 1 or tier 0. And in terms of usage, there are definitely players using him, but I gotta be honest with you guys, it's not a lot. So alright, that's it. We've come to the end. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the video, and gotta apologize that it's gonna be long, but because it's being we'll be going through in the 3 categories. So thank you guys for understanding, and see you guys this coming. See you guys on the live demo play next. Remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. See ya.